What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Manifesting Stardom. This episode is going to be a little different from my regular spiel, but I just wanted to talk about it because it's on my mind, and I know that, as I get more famous and as my career progresses, I'm pretty sure I'll do like an official documentary special. But I just wanted to talk about the feelings because maybe somebody is going through this or has gone through this. And so if any of you don't know, my mom was murdered when she was 23 years old. I was 6 years old. And it was a classic domestic violence, abuse by the book, a classic domestic violence situation. Her boyfriend, ex-boyfriend, had been abusing her for some time. And ultimately, after so many times of being sent to the hospital and being from the blunt force trauma to her head, she had started experiencing seizures. And she was currently being monitored because, of course, she wasn't telling anybody about it. She was being monitored for brain activity because the doctors told her that the only way that you would have these seizures is from blunt force trauma to the head. But she had been lying to her doctor. She lied to everybody. And she had been wearing like this helmet thing to monitor her brain activity. Whole time it was because she was getting knocked upside her head by her boyfriend. And she had been abused for a while, back and forth. Classic domestic violence case. And on Thanksgiving weekend, the day after Thanksgiving, her ex-boyfriend went looking for her. She had been hiding. He went looking for her. He went and told family members that when he found her, he was going to kill her. What ended up happening was the family members called the police and told the police what he had threatened. And so the police went to go look for him. Turns out he was in front of our apartment with a loaded gun, hiding in the bushes, waiting for my mom to come home. The backstory to that is he was already a felon. He was already on probation. And the day before, a few days before that, my mom did a restraining order, what they call a PFA, for him to stay away from her. However, he had not been served yet at this time that he was arrested. But he was arrested. He was on probation for narcotic charges. And when they picked him up, he had a loaded gun. It was the day after Thanksgiving. It was a Friday night. My family were told by police that he would surely not even see a judge until Monday. Just so happened that when he went in and got arraigned, there was a judge that is speculated to have known his family. It's speculated to, because the judge knew my family too. But the judge had let this man out of jail maybe a few hours after he had been locked up. And the night that he let him out of jail, he killed my mom that same night. And so the crazy thing about this story is the judge, and I'm from Chester, it's a small city, but this particular judge went to school with my mom's mom. He went to high school with my grandma. He went to high school with my mom's dad, my grandfather. So this judge knew my family. He didn't know my mom, but he knew my family. And it's speculated that he knew the other family. I can't confirm or deny that. But for whatever reason, this judge let this man out of jail. And that night, he killed my mom. My mom her cause of death was exsanguination. She had been stabbed so many times, but she could have been saved. However, help to get to her was long, or it took a while for police to get to her, and she died from the loss of blood. Her killer also died 2 weeks later. The media tried to portray it as a double murder. because he had stab wounds as well. But I already know what it is. My mom was defending herself, and rightfully so. I'm so thankful she killed him. Because I would hate to have to live a life with my mom alive and this man in jail and he out after 20 years or whatever. So I'm grateful for that. Fast forward to me creating my album 23. If y'all ever listen to the song on the album, Shannon's Last Words, it's literally talking about that scenario. It's my mom speaking what I believe my mom's words was as she laid there bleeding out, because she literally died from a loss of blood. So the song is me speaking on what perhaps her thoughts was as she took her last couple of breaths. And so before I released the album 23, I wanted to have certain conversations with family members and people involved that will bring me closure. And I think that is what has helped me so much in the process of my healing, that from the time I was 6 to the time that I was releasing this album, I wanted to just have certain conversations to know what happened before I released the album. And so I actually spoke with the dude who murdered my mom's sister, because the murder took place at her home, and I got to speak with her on what she witnessed. And I'm forever grateful for what she told me. I'm forever grateful for what she felt like she couldn't stop things. And so I'm just grateful for that conversation I had with her. But I have conversations with my mom's friends that was out with her that night, because long story short, my mom was out. She went out and was celebrating because he was in jail. Her friends went out. It was a holiday weekend. They went out, and she didn't even know that he was out of jail. When he found out where she was, she went to the club that he was at and threatened her and threatened the guy she was dancing with. From that, after they left, he basically called her when she got back home, called her and said whatever she said to meet him or whatever. And my mom went to him. And so a lot of people have said that like that's like her going to him or her being the aggressor. But the truth of the matter is, if anybody knows anything about domestic violence, Stockholm Syndrome is a real thing. So that bond that you have with your abuser is really hard to break. So for him to have been out of jail, and for him to have called her, and for her to willingly have gone to him, only for her to be murdered in the next couple of hours, my mom is in every way still a victim. I'm going to say that till I die. And anybody that tries to tell me different, I ain't going to say what y'all can do. But my mom is a victim. She was a victim. And yes, she was defending herself. My mom was 5'6" and 112 pounds. This dude was like 6'4", 260. It's no way. And he had been abusing her for years. Like, he had been abusing her. So I witnessed him abuse her. He abused me. So all that other stuff is BS. But anyway, long story short, when I'm working on my album and I'm ready to release my album, this particular judge that let him out of jail had been trying to get in contact with my family, my grandmother in particular, for years, to apologize, to make amends, because they were friends. And my grandmother, I call her mom, my grandmother never really forgave him. She never really could stand and look at him, because it's no reason why you would let this man out of jail after he's on probation. To your credit, you may not have known that there was a restraining order that he had not been served, but he was on probation. He had a loaded gun. That in and of itself alone should send that nigga back to jail. But for whatever reason, he let him out of jail. He let him out, and within hours he killed my mom. So my grandmother has never really she been cool off bull. So here I am, decades later. I want to talk. I want to have a conversation with this man. And there was another justice in the city that helped me orchestrate it, thanks to her. And she set up the meeting with me, myself, my godmom, who was actually with my mom the night she was murdered, and my grandmother and my manager. And I got to sit down with this judge. Now, before I got to sit down with this judge, my godmom told me, I don't know what you're looking for in this conversation, but prepare yourself, because the type of person that you're about to deal with, you may not get that approval or the response that you want. Cool. So I went and I just brought it to him. I got the conversation. I recorded it. It was about a 2-hour conversation. He was ill. This was like, he was ill, so he had just kind of like retired from being a judge, like maybe that month or month before. And so his whole thing was, oh my gosh, I get to talk to Wanda, my grandmother. I get to, say whatever I've been wanting to say to her. He don't know me, but, in order to talk to her, you're going to have to talk to me, because that's the reason we having this meeting. And so I just asked him, and, he took no accountability. He gave me excuse after excuse after excuse. He said he didn't know about this. He didn't know about that. He didn't know about any of this. He didn't know he was on probation. He didn't know this. He didn't know that. And so I really didn't even get a straight answer from him, to be honest. I didn't get a straight answer from him. And so his reaction was, his stance on it was that after he let the dude out of jail, that him and the dude and my mom ended up going to the club together, because a lot of people seen them at the club later that evening or whatever. And I'm like, I'm sorry that you heard that and that's what you feel happened, but that's not what happened. You know what I'm saying? He basically was looking for my mom. He found my mom at the club. So I'm saying all that to say that the conversation was, on the surface, hurtful, but through, I believe, my maturity and through God orchestrating it in the time that he did, it was also healing, because it's one thing to grieve over what you think happened, but it's another thing to be able to grieve over the facts. And so I finally got I didn't get the truth or a straight answer from this judge, but to his credit, he had a conversation with me. He was willing to have a conversation with me. He gave me the pitiful, if I did something wrong apology, which you can shake that shit to hell. But to his credit, he met with me. You know what I'm saying? To his credit, he met with me, and ultimately, in the grand scheme of everything, even though he failed to do his job, even though he failed to protect his community, what he did do, his intent was not for the guy to go out and murder my mom. You know what I'm saying? I'm almost certain that wasn't why he did it. It was a lack of negligence, a lack of integrity, I believe, and a lack of due process, a lack of due diligence. Just a terrible, terrible mistake. And so 2 years later, 3 years later, yesterday, I saw a good friend of mine post that this judge died. And I immediately sent to my grandmother, and I'm like, finally croaked. And that was my honest feeling, was like, he finally died. He finally croaked. So whatever justice is due to him, so be it. And I was going to comment under the post, but I'm like, it's no reason to be ugly spirited. It's no reason to be, because maybe this man, because the post was revering him in this heroic manner, which I disagree with. However, to assume that he's never done great things, or to assume that he hasn't been good to other people, would just be pure ignorance, for me. And I don't know. He probably has benefited or been a blessing to other people. And what's true is true. Um, and then today is just like thinking about it today. I'm grateful that I got to have the conversation with him because that really aided in my healing process. And then secondly, in order for me to be forgiven for God to forgive me, the word tells us, please forgive us as we forgive our debtors. So in order for me to be forgiven, or for my family or whoever that I love to be forgiven, I must forgive others. I must forgive others. That is the prerequisite to be forgiven from God, to get forgiveness from God. And so I didn't think that I didn't forgive him. It's not like but when he died, for me to be like, he finally died, he finally croaked, there must be something in here, something in my heart that hasn't forgiven him. And so, yeah, I just wanted to talk about it, man. I did talk about the situation a little more in my documentary. Maybe I'll tag the DOCU-series where I introduce the world to my mom, Shannon. I finally show home videos of her. I show people and talk about her and tell people about her. And I think she was just such a magnetic spirit. She was such a beautiful person that, it's like hard not to share her with the world. And so, yeah, I just want to talk about it, especially because, after I released the documentary, the dude's family, who I haven't had a problem with for years, they decided to be disrespectful and start talking shit on Facebook about my mom and how, my mom wasn't innocent. And I'm like, I understand that you guys are upset that your dad, your brother, your uncle was an abusive murderer. I understand that. I would feel terrible about that too. I would feel terrible about that. But the facts are what they are. We can't equal out this blame. My mom was a victim. It's blatant. Anybody that has any common sense, that's any bit of smart, that knows anything about abuse, could clearly see that my mom was a classic victim and this man was a classic abuser. And if y'all's too stupid or too ignorant to know what a domestic violence abuse situation is, that's not my problem. But I'll never make my mom share the blame on why he died too. I am so thankful that she defended herself. I am so thankful that man ain't roaming the earth. Because it's been almost 30 years now. By now he would have been out. There's no way, because then I'm in jail. Now I'm spending the rest of my life in jail. So I'm so thankful she handled her business. My mom died immediately. She died that night. He lived for like 2 weeks. I found out recently that he died the day of my mom's funeral. And thank God. And so I never speak of him. I don't never speak ill of that man. I don't never speak or talk. I don't ever, whenever I'm talking about my mom or even in my documentary, I never center it around him. He will never matter to me. He'll never be worthy of me speaking his name. And so, unfortunately, he has kids and he has family and I get that y'all love him, but he was an abuser and he murdered my mom and my mom defended herself. So we're going to always stick with those facts. And the messed up part is the judge let him out of jail knowing that he was a criminal. So the judge let him out of jail and he killed my mom the day he let him out of jail. So we never gonna gloss over that. We never gonna make that something that's not a big thing. We never gonna do that. But it was in God's plan, and we live in life. Y'all lost a family member. I lost my mom, and I'm gonna continue to tell her story and make her legacy what it is, because she was lit. She was fucking lit. She was lit. And so, yeah, I just wanted to talk about it. And it's a very touchy, personal thing, but I'm at a healing space where I'm even able to talk about it. I wasn't even at this space. And God has granted me so much peace and so much healing around it that I'm able to talk about it, but I'm able to stand firm on it. And so as I work to forgive this judge who has now passed away, I just wanted to express where I am now. So I didn't know this video was going to be this long, but yeah. So tune into another episode of Manifest and Stardom. I'm going to tag my music video for Shannon's Last Words, the song. I'm going to post also the links to the documentary series about my mom and her life and the situation. And stream the album 23. It's the story of my life. And yeah.